So I tell this story in my instructor development workshops that I started teaching when we were still using overhead transparencies. I would go show you my UPS transparencies. I still have them. It's like, it's in my historic museum. Seriously. So that's how I started on transparencies. And so when I look at the evolution now, you know, whether somebody uses PowerPoint or anything else, or I look at all the tools that we can really use to make a difference, you know, so that people get it, it's changed drastically. We're not a lecture-based education. We cannot be a lecture-based education field because we know so much more about adult learning and how adults process and how they want to learn that, well, it's like night and day. And if you haven't caught up, it's tough. It's tough. You know, if you would have asked me that question 3 months ago, it would have been a different answer. But 3 months ago, when all of a sudden my entire world is right here, teaching across the country via Zoom, I never would have, in all my career, in all my education career, I taught one instructor development workshop online in 12 years. Now, it's almost a daily event to teach somebody something on Zoom. So in the midst of where we are right now, which is like the biggest change I've ever seen, even from the transparency era, I only envision what it could look like 5-10 years down the road. You know, so I'm on a committee with ADRE to determine the future of Zoom. I use Zoom, but you know, any platform. The future of it in the state. And one of the things I heard myself say very adamantly was the vehicle in which we deliver the material does not change the material. So if I'm in a live classroom, that class better be as good as it can possibly be. I almost want to say stellar as it possibly can be, with interactive learning tools and techniques, because that's the way adults learn today. Delivering it on a computer via Zoom, I just have to figure out how do those tools that we're so comfortable using in the classroom, how do they translate here? And what I found over the last couple of months is they transfer very nicely. As a matter of fact, they're easier. So the delivery is not really affected by the vehicle. The content's not affected by the delivery. And then the content, look, if we're not teaching agents if we're not teaching current information, and I think this will really answer your question, like what is it going to look like in 10 years? It's going to look like whatever the real estate industry looks like, right? Because if we're not teaching what's relevant to those agents on the front line today, then there's no point in teaching the class. That's kind of how I feel. So I don't know what it's going to look like because I don't know what the industry is going to look like. But I have watched us go from teaching press hard, what do we say? Press hard, there's 9 copies, to DocuSign. Well, if we're still teaching press hard, there's 9 copies. Stop.